when they built the set and they lit it and I walked onto it. Shit, this is what it looked like in Unreal.
It's perfect!
I got asked if I could help on Deadpool because they needed a VFX Art Director. I brought Unreal Engine and I showed them what it could do. They suggested that I could start lighting the set designs and then we could also have a VR solution. And they didn't really know what I'm talking about, but we tried it. I'll never forget Shawn Levy turned to me and he went, "Yeah, well done, nerd." This was about communicating Ray's visual ideas, fully lit and rendered, to Shawn, to Ryan.
There's obviously so much attention to detail with things like this.
We used the Megascans samples and Ray picked what he liked and then we took them to the construction and said, match these. My job is just to try and help them and to make the stuff that they're doing look as good as possible when it's presented. Ray was a total visionary and I'm going to miss him. I do miss him. There was just this spirit about him. One of the best things about the movie is what Ray contributed. It looks like no other movie, like an incredible tapestry of art.
MX Bell back in the house. Welcome back to the VFX Process.
You're going to be sick of sight, mate.
I just love talking to you, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, you don't have to podcast every time we talk. You can just ring me if you want. You know?
That's true. I have to wait until we organise a podcast just to speak to you. But no, this is going to be a great one because, of course, we are talking about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you just quickly introduce yourself and what your involvement was and role was on this incredible movie?
Martin Bell, MX Bell, as we discussed on the previous one now, because I'm directing and writing and stuff, and it needed a more unique name. I got asked if I could help on Deadpool because they needed a VFX Art Director. I'd never done that before and I didn't really know what it was. It's a CG generalist. It can be a modeler, but what they really wanted was someone to visualise sets. It was our mutual friend Georgia that she introduced me to Ray, the production designer, who sadly died at the end of the production. And the DVD's coming out and there's a documentary about him. Visionary production designer, great to work with, and I really, really liked him. We got along really well. He called me Marty. No one's ever called me Marty before.
Marty.
It was super fun to work with. And he used to call me into the office and ask me, like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And I'm like, I'm just here to, like, convert FBX files to more than anything.
That's great, though.
I brought Unreal Engine and I showed them what it could do. They'd never seen it before. And I suggested that I could start lighting the set designs as they came out of from the set designers' computers and they were, doing those very technical kind of architectural models. And I could bring those in and start making them look almost photoreal and light them. And then we could also have a VR solution. So I started taking a laptop and I got this super advanced router and a battery pack. And we'd take it to the set and they would tape out the sets on the stages according to the set designs. And they do like walkarounds where everyone just has to imagine what the set looks like as it's drawn, as it's taped out, where they're going to build it. I said, like, well, why don't I bring a laptop down and an iPad with a camera rig and you can look through the iPad in virtual reality at the set. And they didn't really know what what I'm talking about, but we tried it on the street set, and the first AD really liked it and he took it to the director Shawn. So Shawn Levy stood there with this thing as, oh, that's cool, yeah, and he's looking around at this this imaginary New York type skyline, and he liked it and he turned to, I'll never forget, Shawn Levy turned to me and he went, "Yeah, well done, nerd." So I ended up doing more and more of that increasingly. The first I'll show you here is the TVA, we call it the TVA corridor. It turned out really nice and just like lighting. It's very simple, but when they built the set and they lit it and I walked onto it, like, shit, this is just what it looked like in Unreal, so it was super fun. I didn't design any of these sets. I'm not claiming that credit. There are set designers.
You basically receive like production models, like CAD, maybe it's a CAD or an FBX or whatever, and then that's you've assembled that in here.
Yes, yeah. Set design on this was Guy Assured. Is super cool. This will open and close, and a lot of really nice. These are all Megascans materials. So I get this from art department.
What was their reactions like from the art department? Did they get to look at it in Unreal Engine?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, it got quite fun, like calling the art director.
Yeah, come and look at this. Come and look at this set.
Yeah, so this is what we get, basically. And then what I would do is, I must not have had to do it at all in this set, but usually these images look like just checkerboard fests where I've just been re-UVing all the material slots effectively for Unreal Engine.
It's so great to see. I can just imagine like you receiving that FBX, that Maya file, and thinking, "Oh, you guys wait until this is in Unreal Engine." And then it's just like a corridor and a really simple set, but man, it brings it to life.
Yeah, it does.
It's super exciting.
So let's go to the command center. Victoria Allwood was the set designer on this one. It's a lovely set. I love the TVA designs as well. We did this tape out on the stage, and the producers were there, and I animated the elevator door coming up, and then this is what you see, and then they all could all walk through it, and all the producers loved it. It was great fun, and it was really weird because that's taped out, the gangway's taped out on the stage floor, and it was really weird to be walking along it and look down, and there's this drop, but it's not really there, you know. So it was great fun.
Are they using it to just scout and play with cameras and timings and things? And what involvement does it have for like actors and like our typical previews?
This was about communicating Ray's visual ideas, fully lit and rendered, to Shawn, to Ryan, anybody else that needs to see it. Rather than showing them a piece of concept art and a white cardboard model and say it's kind of that times that, this is more like what it is kind of thing.
And they can change things on the fly, can't they, if they wanted to? Or what does it look like if we do this? Do the lighting team and like the DOP kind of give you information of the lighting rigs?
It's lighting as it pertains to what Ray wants, but then obviously the DOP is going to have their say, but that's going to come kind of afterwards. This is the Fox Hero hideout, also known internally as the Bunker Temple, which is what Ray liked to refer to it as. The art director for this one was Alex Bowens. Ray really liked the idea of having these kind of like World War II bunker holes to kind of look out from. This light here, this is coming through from the sky. You can see the shaft of light coming down. And originally I was trying to get it so that it could come down through both. And what we discovered was, because it's obviously it's realistic based lighting, can't get it to come down through both because of the way it's shaped. I managed to put some, I don't know if you can see the one there.
Oh, what's happening there? There's like little...
It's caustics from the water.
Oh, yes. Nice.
But they're not real caustics. I think Unreal can probably do it now. I had to fake that. I can't remember how I did it, but I did it. I think it's a decal. Yeah, it's a decal. Yeah, there you go. There's more of it there. And again, Ray was like, make it less, make it more, or whatever. It was fun.
What was your reaction to when you found out that, you know, like Blade and everyone was going to have this little appearance?
They changed the names in the script, and I didn't know. Ryan, I think, just shared the script page the other day, and it says Jonathan Byers. And I read the script, and I'm like, the Stranger Things kids in the voice. Like,
I was just completely, utterly wrong.
And it was only after I fully read it, and I was like, well, I like the script, but I don't understand what the fucking Stranger Things kids are doing in there. And they're like, you're an idiot. It's code for all the guest stars and stuff.
This changes everything.
It does. It literally does change everything. But then I kept getting them confused. So, like, you know, the post-credit scene where Chris Evans...
While gargling juggernauts, nuts. Wow. And you can quote me.
In my head, that was always Blade doing that. Yeah, I got him confused.
There's only been one Blade. There's only ever going to be one Blade.
This was one of the first things I ever worked on. The skull layer was Al Bowen's set as well. He also did the Bunker Temple. This is all meant to be kind of like, it looks like space station, kind of astronaut-y outfit type material. What you can see here, this line, that's the set build. We've come over, we can see outside into the ANTMAN arena as well, which is pretty cool. This is what you see when you kind of walk into the ANTMAN arena. The art director for this was Amber King, who's great. I got along really well with Amber. I did quite a bit of work on this with Amber, but I didn't do anything creative particularly. It was more about helping her with the file.
And it's not a set build out the eyes of Ant-Man there, is it?
Well, yeah, but not the same set.
I was going to say, that's an insane build.
The Ant-Man set build came to about 3 fingers, and everything above the 4th finger was digital.
Okay. Was there a reason why they couldn't build that 4th finger?
I think it might have been a regulation thing. It's got to go a certain height, and it can only go a certain height. With there being more regulations, and it's a massive construction site, right? So it's a lot of hard acts and all that stuff. Then Ray asked me to design this stuff here. I think it's in one shot of the movie. So this is the set build, and this is more like what you would see in my Maya file. So basically I've separated out the materials. I put checkerboards in just so that I know like what we're looking at. In the Hype Shade here, for example, I've named them bone, there's the floor checkerboard, metal checkerboard, whatever. And then I'm going to link those up. When I get those into Unreal, then I know what kind of material I'm supposed to be applying to that. That'll be in discussion with the art director. This was what I designed here, and you can see those. And that was a cloth sim. I talked about this shape with Ray showed me some examples of, like, you know, Gothic cathedrals almost with that shape, vaulted. He calls it, which I'd never heard of. It's completely unique. It took me a while to get it because I'd never heard of anything like it before. It's really visionary, you know. I mean, look at this floor.
Did you see things from a different kind of new perspective working in this department with people like Ray?
Honestly, it's the most fun I've had on a movie since we did Jurassic World 2. Like, it's the most fun I had, and the biggest learning experience, because you're not in VFX, you're not sequestered off like in a box somewhere. You know, like, you know, back in the day before the pandemic, we'd actually be on a movie at Pinewood Studios in an office, and down the corridor would be that department and the storyboard artists, and you could just go talk to people and find out stuff. And then after the pandemic, that's kind of all changed.
Yeah, you should be integrated as much as possible.
I think so, yeah.
Were you involved in mine with every scene?
Yeah, to a degree I was.
So I can imagine there being a lot of models, a lot of files.
There is a lot. Ant-Man Arena, Axe Bar, City Streets, Drive Max was where Wade worked. Fox Hideout we've looked at, and the LAIR we've looked at. Power Room is the thing at the end, we'll get to that. Command Center, CD Bar, Corridor, Elevator. So I didn't do like the stuff at the start of the movie, didn't do anything on that. You know, like the apartment, everyone knows what an apartment looks like. It wasn't like it needed to be visualized. I went on that set too, it was cool.
You save the good stuff for special occasions?
Killing mostly.
This is the street set. Liam Jorgensen, who's a good friend of mine now, was the art director on this. The set build for this was going to be 2 stories, right? That's as high as it would go. And then what I was doing here, I would take each section of this and create a third story as a separate piece. All these are material slots of different colours. They've got checkerboards on, so I know that they're nicely spaced out. That's what I would do in here, and then each of these gets sent off separately into one reel and then built up after. That's the set. That's what got built. There's a reason why these have got the graphics on, and that's because I made these CCTV things. In the command center, there are some videos running, and like they've been spying on Wade. There's one of the most fun things I did actually. They asked me, using Unreal, can I make something that like CCTV footage from outside Wade's apartment? And the reason was that scene was going to be shot before they finished building this set, so it couldn't actually make any CCTV using the real set. So
okay.
So this is using Unreal Engine 5.1, and these people will go out of their way to avoid each other.
What is this then? What feature is this?
It's mass crowd. I just used the example one, you know, the Matrix City vehicles and crowd, and there's a little sample one where you can draw paths on the pavement. This will play forever. I made kind of half a dozen of them.
This is essentially what you see in games like, you know, the Matrix demo, and also things like the Spider-Man games.
Like the old computer game, artificial intelligence. I mean, like that term's been around for 30 years, right? Because it's like these AIs, they have to make decisions about what they're going to do, and when one of them bumps into one of the others, they have to move out of the way. So you can't really see it, but there is a pedestrian crossing here, and the characters do cross, and the traffic does stop for them and everything.
What was their expectations compared to what you was able to present?
I don't think they expected it to be as good as this. Yeah, I don't know really. I mean, it doesn't have to. It's not on screen very much.
Oh, twins.
The idea here is either it gets darker, there's less people around and less traffic, and then there's peak times where it's busier.
That's insanely cool.
They've all got times a day associated with them. So that all happened on here, and that's why these things have got their logos and stuff attached and made a bit nicer, because they were the hero buildings. And then so I added this set extension, which is effectively just repeating it up, and in discussions with Ray about how many levels it goes up, and then what happens when we get to the top. The choice of paint and stuff like that, like I worked on with Ray, like this house had this as these coloured bricks, and this house had these coloured bricks, and then Ray was able to see what they would look like then with all this kind of going on.
There's obviously so much more attention to detail with things like this that many viewers wouldn't even think they consider things so much as to brick colour.
No, I mean, literally the pattern of the brick, like how many light colour bricks are in this compared to dark colour bricks, Ray would consider. And so I made swatches of all the types of brick that I had, and he was able to pick them, and then we used the Megascans samples, and Ray picked what he liked, and then we took them to the construction and said match these.
Oh really? Shout out Megascans, that's great.
Ray worked out that there was actually a river down here, and it flowed up there. So this is Wade's neighbourhood, and then there's a train track that runs down here, which is why you can see this train track thing runs over. This is not the latest version. So the other version, actually, there was several versions of this that I used for different purposes. That's why I'm switching between them. That's to think a little bit more like what it's like in the final movie. And the very last thing I did was there's a shot where Wolverine walks down this road, and they wanted to see this city in the background, but it used to be shaped slightly differently, and so I tidied that up so that we could get a clear view of the city in the background as Wolfie walks down.
Does this part of the production, Martin, and your role kind of inform things like green screen sizes and set building things for visual effects purposes on shoot.
Yeah, things like that. So there was a version of this as well that had the green screens in, so they could see where those were going to be and stuff. So yeah, that's the New York Street, or City Street, I should say. TVA Outpost, I think, is the last one.
She's awesome, man. This is so cool to see. I mean, I'm aware of, living this world myself anyway, like, you know, just a 3D space, but so cool to see what goes into a movie like Deadpool, you know. So much attention to detail.
So just up through there would be the street. I think the art director on this was Katie Money. So this is, again, more like kind of lighting it and seeing what things would look like. So we can come down here, and this is the Time Ripper, as designed by concept artist Ivan Waitman, I believe. And there's a couple of Cassandra models in here as well. One of the cool things was they were trying to visualize what it looks like, because obviously what's down here is the cooling rods where the finale takes place. Ray had this idea that they look like nuclear cooling rods, which is pretty cool. And then in here, this is actually, I think this is pretty much a stock asset that I used and just bent to my will down here for the underground. You probably recognize that. It's on the Unreal Marketplace.
Oh, okay.
This was my first visualization of it. I think I put the cables and stuff along the side and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, so here's what we got. This is what it looks like more like in the real thing. So I would add a bunch of this stuff, these cables and whatnot. So yeah, I think that's everything.
That's so cool to see, man. What would it look like to be a VFX art director on this project without the use of Unreal Engine and what you brought to it?
It looked like this, really. I mean, I didn't get asked to model anything, really, with the exception of some bits for this. I said, because you know me, I'm always honest and transparent. Like I'm not a modeler. Like, if that's what you want from me, that's not who I am. But I can assemble things, light things, present things with nice cameras and whatnot. Like, I know how to do that, and I've got a lot of sort of technical skill, file conversion, things like that. Like I did a lot of that, like, which is not the most fun thing in the world, but you just have to support all these amazingly talented art directors. My job is just to try and help them and to make the stuff that they're doing look as good as possible when it's presented.
You opened up their eyes to see it in a different light. I can imagine that being incredibly useful for them. You know, when we'd work on a job and we'd see them walking up the corridor with the set, that it's like a miniature that they've made out of like the foam boards and stuff.
Our department is an ancient department in film, right? Predates computer technology. The miniature foam board model was always the way they would present the set design to the director, and they'd be able to talk through it. And I don't think it's ever going to go away. Don't matter how digital everything gets, there will always be white foam board models in a film production. They're great as well. Like I love the artistry of it. Like, it's so good to see it in miniature. But they're always there. If you go the set tape outs, the art director will bring the foam board miniature, put it on the table to one side. My stuff was just an addition to that. You know, my stuff's just a bit of a VR thing they can look through. It's never going to replace that foam board thing. It's integral to the art department.
What was it like when you watched the movie then? Could you ever just watch the movie for what it was? Or?
No, not really. I don't think you ever can you, if you've worked on it for that long? I think there's films I've worked on where I didn't do much, and you can just go, oh, I'll watch the movie, and then there's a sequence that you did, and then you go, oh yeah, that's that. I think Bond, like No Time to Die, that was one of those. Like, I didn't really know much about outside of the sequence that I made. Like, I didn't know much else about it. I'd seen a couple of other sequences during previews, but I didn't know much. With this one, obviously, read the script multiple times, knew about every stage of the movie. There's a set, there's a location, there's whatever, there's concept art, there's everything. So, like, I knew what the movie looked like from top to bottom, start to finish. Probably this is the movie that I've worked on where I had the best overall view of what the final movie was going to look like. But it still was, I'd tell you, yeah, really enjoyable. I love the movie, and I think it's super funny. I think from an art department perspective, Ray was, total visionary, and I'm going to miss him. I do miss him. Like, it was weird. I only worked with him on the one job, but there was just this spirit about him that,
Yeah, man.
You got it, man. He was a machine. He'd have these references, like he'd talk to you about, like, oh, it should look like this. I remember I took a picture in this Philadelphia car park once, and he'd go to his computer and he'd dig up this image that he took in the Philadelphia car park, and he told me that he used to, when he was working on, like, Avengers, it was like in Atlanta, and every weekend he would just pick a random American city and fly to it on a Friday night, and then go around taking pictures. It's banked in the brain for recall later, and then off again to the next one. Like, he would just be doing that. I imagined, it was funny in my head to think of, and it made him laugh. I think it's one of the best things about the movie is what Ray contributed. It looks like no other movie. Like, just looking at some of these things we've looked at today, an incredible kind of tapestry of art that goes on in the background of that movie.
I've always wanted to ride with you, Logue. You and me getting into it. Deadpool, and Wolverine just fucking shit up. Can you imagine the fun?
Just want to say thanks for diving into those scenes and talking about your role in the movie, Martin. It's so insightful. These techniques and, you know, the use of Unreal Engine for scouting and building these environments to really help other departments, you know, see things, explore things, and see what things are going to look like through lenses and cameras and things. You've actually used these technologies on a movie that you're working on in early production at the moment called Giblet, because we do have a full episode on this conversation. But while people are watching this one, can you just briefly show how you can use it on an indie level like yourself on a movie that you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm using it as a tool to basically start shot list the film, right? So here's the scripts kind of started shot list. And as I'm going through, I'm lining up the shots. I've got the set open, I've got the characters all animated and recorded with motion capture in their positions and their blocked positions. And I'm just going through, and as I'm shot listing, writing it down, shot, and then what does that look like? I wonder, can I get that shot? And then just open it up and throw a camera in and see what it looks like. And then I can record that and we can go through it with the DOP. If I couldn't do it, I'd still want someone who could do it, because it's so useful to be able to just drop into that environment and check out shots, check out scene. You know, so what does it look like from over here? What does it look like from here? Yeah, it's invaluable, I think. I mean, it doesn't have to be Unreal Engine that you do it in. Obviously, Blender and LAIR and stuff can do similar things, but I find Unreal Engine to be one of the easiest things to use.
Thanks, Martin. That was really, really insightful, man. So I just want to say thanks for your time. That was really great. On a Sunday morning, really appreciate it.
Next time we talk, we'll not record it.
I'll just call you up or we can go for a beer rather
That
than
sounds good. Let's do that.
jumping on Riverside.
Nice to talk to you, as always, mate.
Awesome, man. Martin Bell, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Have a nice rest of your weekend, lads.
Awesome, man. Cheers, Martin. You too, man. You too.
Take it easy. See ya.